mean, when he give it all. You know, when I know I'm gonna leave this world one of these days, and you gonna leave it too. And I got sense enough to know that I'm not gonna be able to take anything with me. But I want to leave enough behind that somebody would realize I've been here. That's what I want to do. Thank you, Ashton. Perfect song for today. I want you to turn with me to the book of James, a message that is tailored for everybody. Some sermons, I wonder, who is it going to hit? Or am I on point? That's my children done taught me that language. But today, I'm not worried, because today is a message tailored for everybody. The book of James, chapter 4, beginning at the 13th verse, and I'm going to cut it off because it's all I can handle, all you can stand. James chapter 4, beginning at verse 13, says, "Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. Whereas ye know not what shall be on tomorrow. For what is your life? Is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanishes away. For that ye ought to say, if it's the Lord's will, we shall live and do this or that." Thank you very much. When Ashton started singing that song, my soul leaped for joy, because it connects with what God is saying to us right here from the book of James. Write this down. This is very important. Life is short. Death is sure. Sin is the cause. Christ is the cure. What is the attitude that you take in life? I want to talk about the investment of life. The investment of life. For life is an investment. What you do with it is what you get out of it. Nothing in, nothing out. And it's a sad thing that when you leave this world and on your tomb, you leave the inscription, coulda, woulda, shoulda. It is this, that you're going to be, some folks say, some folks live on the principle that you're going to live a year, you're not going to die, you don't think about death, and you leave the responsibility on somebody else. The burden, the headache, the pain. Never prepare for checking out. Here's another statement you need to write down. You may not want to leave this world, but you're going to get your eviction notice sooner or later. You're going to leave here. And my mother, when I was a little boy, she always talked about sooner or later. And I said, Mama, I said, what's the rationale behind sooner or later? She said, son, common sense tells you sooner shows up before later. Listen, don't live life as if you're going to live forever. Don't live life as you have plenty of time from now to do what needs to be done. James says in his writing, go to now, ye that say today or tomorrow, we will go into such a city, continue there for a year, buy and sell, get and gain, whereas ye know not what shall be on tomorrow. Listen, I was reading last night, if God would allow you to look into the future, it would throw you into a state of frenzy that you would have a nervous breakdown because it's more than you can handle. And the writer says we ought to thank God that we cannot see into the future. But we have to learn to trust our future to the man who holds the future. Whereas ye know not what shall be on tomorrow. For what is your life? Ask yourself the question today, what is my life? It's a vapor. On a cold, chilly morning or some cold day, step outside and breathe, inhale and exhale, and blow out and watch your breath as a vapor fade away. That's what James is saying. What is your life? It's even as a vapor. Now you see it, now you don't. Because it only appeareth for a time, and then it vanishes away. But what you ought to say, if it's the Lord's will, we shall live, do this and that, if it's the Lord's will. Listen, here's an individual in the text that planned a period in life as if he was in control. He knew exactly what he was going to do. He knew exactly where he was going to do it. He knew exactly what he was going to buy. He knew exactly what he was going to pay for it. Read it. He knew exactly how he was going to sell it. He knew exactly who he was going to sell it to. And he says in so many words, so he thinks, I know how long I'm going to be here. He says that he was going to buy, he was going to sell, and this was his forecast for the future. My uncle passed away when I was just moved to Jackson. My mother called me, her oldest brother. She said, you need to come home. Your uncle passed away, and I need some help. I said, yes, ma'am. I rushed to Bolivar. Didn't take me but 20, 25 minutes. She said, I want you to take all of his vehicles to your house and keep them, because I don't want nothing to happen to anything. In one of the cars, he had a tape, that big 8-track, and I was leaning in it. And I pushed the tape in, and it was B.B. King. B.B. King was singing a song, time is a thief that'll rob you of a many a years, and your youth is the only ransom that can pay. The next lyric was, time is a thief that'll rob you of a many years and leave you only your yesterday. Now, y'all quiet, but some of you heard that in the club. Some of you got it in your car. And I'm going to be honest with you, BB is one of my favorite songs called When I Get the Blues. Ain't nothing wrong with BB. When I get the blues, I don't want nobody around me but BB and Lucille. Listen, let me tell you that the Bible, listen, does not condemn planning. What the Bible teaches, you can plan, just don't count on it. Write that one down. Is because you can plan, and your plans can be cut short at the very moment that you make plans. But if you're wise, you'll wrap your plans in the idea of if it's the Lord's will, this is what I'll do. Listen, most of us just look at life, plan life, and never take life seriously in consideration. Or nor do we take in consideration that God is in control. We undertake the affairs of life without constant regard to the will and the divine providence of God. The Bible reminds us that life is fleeting. The time for experiencing its sensations is so brief that one must be alert to even taste it. Do you really want to know when you learn how to live? Right before you die. When you laid everything out and done everything that you think you can do, that's when you realize ain't nothing to it. Because to wake up in the morning, to crack an egg, drink a cup of coffee, and look out of the window is one of the best moments of your life. All that other stuff of trying to grab and pull in and get and hard, either you gonna leave it. Oh, wait a minute now. So y'all gonna preach this sermon for me. You gonna leave it, or it's gonna do what? Leave you. Nothing is gonna be taken with you. You can buy you a grave, put 2 plots in front of it, 2 on the side, 2 behind it, dig it deep enough to buy you a nice recliner, a flat screen TV, a coffee table, and plenty of plastic to cover you up so you won't get none of it dirty. Still dead. You gonna leave it, or it's gonna leave you? And I don't want to hurt y'all's feeling, but now y'all know, everybody say he ain't got no filter. Somebody else gonna be in your recliner. Somebody else gonna pimp your ride. Somebody else gonna scramble that egg for your man. Y'all, yeah, y'all have it. Y'all did you see? The idea of it is you picking and hardening and putting up, putting it back, talking about me, I, and mine. And Joe Thurman. I got some deacons crying now saying, Reverend, please don't do it. Joe Thurman riding in your car. Thrill is gone. Oh, I almost did it, didn't I? You know, listen, this sermon is tailored to teach that you do not live as if you got control of your future. Life is fleeting. Self-indulgence and self-satisfaction is not the most important thing in life. Granted that life is a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Let me share something with you. God has a plan for all of our lives. I thank God that he shook me and opened my eyes and allowed the scales to fall from my eyes at an early age. But I still had to grow into some stuff to know that God has a plan for my life. Dr. Martin Luther King said in one of his writings, in one of his quotes, any person who has not found a cause worth dying for has not found a cause worth living for. And the idea of it is, I live, as Paul said, and die for Christ. To live is Christ. To die is gain. Because of this fact, no one can be supremely happy until he has found God's plan for his life. I challenge you today, I challenge those of you who are viewing today to ask yourself, talk to God and ask God, what is your plan for my life? When we become discontented, despondent, or miserable, it may be that we have refused to accept his plan and have persisted in following our own. How can I know God's plan? I'm preaching good today. How can I know God's plan? As a Christian, I believe the interest of the kingdom of God has to become the mainspring and the mainstay in my life, if it's the Lord's will. God's will must be of paramount importance. Each individual believer has his or her own particular part in the plan of God's kingdom. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now listen, when we go to talk about kingdom business, we talk about the ministry. Do you want a field, a real service that will yield a rich reward? Become a day worker. A day worker for Christ. In the New Testament, they call it a day worker because at the end of every day, God rewards you for your labor. And at the beginning of every morning, he allows you to clock in for another day's labor. And at the end of the day, he pays you. At the end of every day. I got paid yesterday for yesterday. I'm going to get paid this evening for today. So I labor hard and I try to labor well is because I'm a day worker. God did not say, Jesus did not say in the New Testament, when one man went to work in the field, he worked in the field, and then the other man came and worked in the field, and God paid him the same thing that he paid the first guy, and he complained. I've been here, and he come in here and make the same thing I make. Because God pays by the day. And listen, remember, time is short. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow. I could leave this pulpit right now. God forbid that it happen. I could walk out of this pulpit right now, and 2 to 3 hours from now, the phones could be ringing, and folks could say, I was there. I can't believe what happened, child. It's because life is that short. And what life does, life calls us to action. Don't get wrapped up in the song with B.B. King, killing time and time killing you. Because life is wrapped up in action. Time can be our tool, or we can become time slaves. Sit down, write out some priorities for your life, pray about it, ask for God's guidance, plan your future, but just don't count on it. It moves from ministry to mission. When you look at the condition existing right here today, one person is talking about taking everything you got or making you spend it all. Yeah. That's what's happening. Your $100 ain't worth but $25 once you get it. It says 100 on the bill, but when you walk out of the grocery store, it ain't bought but $25 worth of groceries. $100 when you walk out of your job wasn't but $25 when you left the service station. Now don't look at me real mean. I want safety team, make sure you get me out of here quick. It's because what I'm saying today, in the idea with the conditions that are existing, none of this stuff really matters. It's because somebody else controlling everything except God. God is control of us all. Remember, God has a plan for our lives. You will face untold pressure each and every day. Listening to the news, listening to all that stuff. Cut it off. It's depressing. One day is this, one next day is that. It's depressing. Leave it alone. Trust God. So it moves from ministry to mission to service. Service is the highest motive that we can have. There lies before each of us a great field of opportunity and responsibility. We have our life to invest. What are we doing with it? The assumptions that we should not make, the assumption that we should never make, is that we have a right to another day. Who told you? Ricky used to sing a song when on LaBelle Street when I first got there. I was this tall, he was this tall. Tomorrow. You remember that? Tomorrow. Forget about tomorrow. For your tomorrow may very well be here today. Or your tomorrow may be too late. Listen, this sermon weighed heavy on me last night, and I couldn't wait to get here to preach it so I could get it out of my system. I hope that we would, if it is the Lord's will, that I have a right to assume my tomorrow. Whereas ye know, listen, I'm almost finished, whereas ye know not what shall be on tomorrow. For what is your life? He asked the question. He pricks our conscience. What is your life? What are you doing with your life? It's even a vapor that appears for a little time and then it vanishes. I remember when I used to wake up and jump out of the bed, spring out of the bed. Now I wake up, I throw one leg out, and the other leg asks the leg, where you going? Time brings about a change. And on these frosty mornings, if you tell the truth, when one foot hit that cool air, your other foot says, get back in here and let's have a meeting. Because time brings about a change. Here's the question, and I'm done. I didn't come in here today to try to turn people. They said, well, Reverend, you ain't pulled it in several Sunday. Well, I ordered me a hoop. And they sent me a notice and said it was on back order. I told one of the deacons last Sunday, he walked up to me, I said, Deke, I ordered me a hoop. It was supposed to have been here last Sunday, and it's on back order. But when it get here, they said it's going to be fire. Listen, here's a question. Because I want to leave this thought. I want you to think about this message today. Listen. The question is, what or who holds your future? What controls you? What do you live for? Or who do you live for? And I hope the right answer just popped up in your mind. Because listen, these are the three principles in which we all live: probation, cultivation, and possibly duration. Probation, cultivation, possibly duration. Probation, we all on probation. Go back to Mama Eve and Daddy Adam. We're on probation. Cultivation, what are you doing with your life? Every day, I was looking at a commercial on TV. I can't remember exactly how it goes. It says, your body is made to move. And I caught on to it. I said, shoot, that's why I'm getting so stiff. I ain't moving enough. I said this morning, I said, as soon as the sun come out, I got to go walking. It's because this old body's slowing down. Hyperventilating, carrying on. Walk fast to the car, then got to sit there and wait before I crank it. This stuff is getting rough around here. Everything lets me know that it's getting late in the evening. Probation, cultivation, and maybe duration are span at most, and their span is held by a thread. There's no certainty of tomorrow. But here's the three things that we can be certain about. I'm gone. I'm gone. That's my third closing. I was talking to one of the members the other day, and I said something 3 times. You said that 3 times. They said, you closed 3 times. So leave me alone about what I said 3 times. You know, so now when I see them, I ain't going to call them by their name. I'm going to call them Trinity. You know, what's happening, Trinity? Listen, here's the 3 things that we can count on every day of our lives if the Lord let us live. Preach, worship, witness. Now, all of us are preachers. I want you to know that. Some of us are ordained, some of us are assigned to ministry, but we are all preachers. Preach, worship. That's what we are doing now. And I pray that this worship is not in vain today. I hope that I planted a seed today that you will walk out this door and you would say, tomorrow is not promised. Ladies, I'm finna help you. Your boo is gonna walk in the house after church and say, you know, baby, you know you've been wanting that new Mercedes and that BMW. Go on, get it. I don't know if I'm gonna be here tomorrow anyway. You see what I'm saying? See all the women just happy? you know, give her your checkbook and say, look, just take it. I don't care nothing about no money. I'm trying to make it to heaven. You know, look at that. Yeah, one woman just leaned over on the other woman. All I'm saying, preach, worship, and witness. Be a witness. I said it in the beginning of the message. I got sense enough to know that I'm not going to be able to take anything with me when I die. Whenever that day comes. Maybe tomorrow. I hope not. But I do want to leave enough behind to where people will know I've been here. I don't want my tombstone just to be the day I was born, dash the day I died. I want the dash to speak for me. What did I do in the dash? Want to be able, look, I want my children to say, Daddy was a good daddy. My mama gone, my sister gone, my brother gone, one of my children are gone. But I would, if they was living, I would want them to say, he's a sure enough good son. But you know what else I would want? I would want New St. Luke to say, he was sure enough a good pastor. That's what I would want. That's what I would want. And lastly, but not least, I would want God to say, servant, well done. That's important. One day at a time. Sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking of you. Give me the strength to do every day what I have to do. Yesterday's gone, and tomorrow may never be mine. Lord, help me today. Show me the way. Teach me to take one day at a time. But deacons, you can come. That Calvary experience. I hope this message was beneficial today to help us think. We don't know what the future holds, but we know who holds the future. The Mercedes place is closed today, but I think Sarah Chevrolet is open. Today you can come by the letter candidate for baptism of Christian experience. It's a marvelous chance, a golden opportunity. Don't wait till tomorrow what you can do today, because tomorrow may very well be too late.